You're watching the Battered Fans Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something...
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 203 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD and Mr. Daniel Solana. How are you guys doing, sirs?
Well, I guess I'll start. I got to represent for my boy out here.
Ooh,
My boy Phil Neville. For those of you watching on visual on YouTube, don't even do that, Solana. This guy's on a 5-game winning streak. Six games where they haven't taken a loss. Are you kidding me? Show some respect.
How many of those have they won?
5 out of 6.
Really?
Oh, they've won 5 out of 6. So they're
5 out of 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, Solana, with that introduction, how are you doing, sir?
I mean, after that introduction, I'm doing terrible. I didn't know that. But anyways, I mean, Uruguay, won this weekend. I was at the game. It was awesome. And then Colombia won, yesterday. And I'm sure you love that. Danny Cuban didn't make it. So I don't know who you're going for. I don't know, Chris, I mean, Cuban didn't make it. I don't know who you're going for.
I'm going for these guys right here. These guys right here in the back. For those of you
they had a good Sunday too. Well, there we go. The three of us had a great Sunday.
That's it. It was good all around, and I'm gonna get into all that. I know.
And I'm also going for Jamaica, by the way.
And they got my intro down packed. But today I got a little confused because Solana joined us late. I saw his face pop up and I switched it up last second. But a lot of things to get to today. But before we do, because we're going to talk about a little bit of everything, right? From Copa America. I want to talk about Weston McKennie, because there's a lot of talk going on about Weston McKennie and the effects, whether people like that or not. Varane. But before we start with any of that, Inter Miami had a bye week. And it ended up being a very positive bye week. It feels like Cincinnati just doesn't lose. Even when we win games we're not supposed to win, we're like, oh, we won. We weren't supposed to win. Let's see what happens with Cincinnati. Oh, they're going to draw with Philly? Great. No, they score in the 100th minute. Like, it's just Cincinnati just doesn't lose. But they lost. We are somehow still first in the Supporter Shield, first in the Eastern Conference. And I know in the long run, we've had this conversation. It doesn't really matter all that much. But still impressive that we're still up top. So I kind of wanted to get what you guys thought. I'll start with Chris. What did you think of the fact that Cincinnati finally loses and we're still number one?
I mean, that's beautiful, right? I mean, they won against Philadelphia. So you think, oh, man, they're hitting on all cylinders. But then all of a sudden they lose against New England. And it's like, oof, okay, we're still in it to win it. Yeah. I mean, New England is getting high. I mean, they're a little low, but they're picking up pace. And a lot of people look. I mean, I follow Tommy Two-Time. Yeah, I follow Tommy Two-Time, and Tommy Two-Time is showing some information about how they're getting a little bit better. I mean, as you can see, for those of you on YouTube, New England is number 12, but I mean, in a couple games they can climb right back up. They're really only 3 points away from being the 8th seed. So,
yep. Solana.
I mean, welcome to the MLS, right? Anything can happen. Now, I'm curious. I said 12 out of 18. Now, do I get those 3 points that Cincinnati didn't win, tacked on to my 12 points that I had said? Because, in basketball, and again, I'm going to go with basketball because I know, me and Chris might connect a little bit better on that wavelength. But, in basketball, when you miss a layup and the other team comes back and hits a 3, you're like, wow, that's a 5-point swing. This is a big swing for Inter Miami because this could have put Cincinnati on top of them with still one more game in hand. So now this keeps them 2 games behind Inter Miami with 1 game in hand. And Inter Miami can still – I know that I'm the one that always says no to the Supporter Shield, but, I mean, this was a big weekend to look forward to that if you're a person that wants to win the dish.
And again, when I talk about the dish, it's not because I literally want the dish. If there was no trophy handed out for that, I wouldn't give a crap. All I want is
home field advantage.
I want to be able to attend all the games. Yeah, there you go. That having home field advantage makes a difference. And thank you for reminding me. Shout out to the Panthers and all those Panthers fans that were happy yesterday. I predicted. I told you last week. I told you literally 7 days ago. It's going to go 7 games, but the Panthers will probably win Game 7. And I was on the money. I wish I should have bet on it, but I'm too much of a punk to gamble. But yes, bye week, but a positive bye week. We still somehow made up 3 points, and things are looking good. We got Nashville, which is our true rival, this Saturday coming up, and we're going to preview that game on Thursday. But we'll keep moving along. Now, I saw Nacho. There's reports already that Real Madrid has already said bye. They already posted on social media. Thank you for being with us for like a million years, blah, blah, blah. He's set to be going to Saudi Arabia. That's a done deal. So he's not coming. But a lot of chatter. I get it. I get it.
I get it too. He was just like you said it last week. He was a bench player his whole life. He wants the bag, bro. Let him do it.
I don't blame him. He's never got a huge contract from Real Madrid. So we now are out of the Nacho sweepstakes, but I'm hearing a lot of chatter about Varane. Rafael Varane, Real Madrid, Manchester United. Now, I have a question for you guys because I had a bit of a back and forth with some people, and I kind of want to get your guys' 2 cents on it. It was on the Discord. So if any of you guys on the Discord, you guys probably saw that we were having a conversation on Discord. How do you guys, and I don't think Varane would come as a DP, at least I hope not. But we can buy down Campana. We can open up a DP spot. How do you guys feel about using a DP spot on a defender, on a center back? Because I feel like in a league like this, where you have a restraint on salary, I would never use a DP spot on a defender. But a lot of people in Discord were going against me saying that I was crazy. So I kind of want to get your take on it. I'll start this time with Solana. Solana, what do you think?
I mean, I don't think you are crazy. I think using a DP spot on a defender, unless it's going to be somebody who makes, and I love the sound of that. That was amazing. But unless he's going to make a big difference. Now, in this, point where you're talking about Varane, I would be okay giving him a DP spot. Why? I think Varane puts you over the edge into now you're in the category of, all right, now you're going to compete for an MLS Cup. And
you're not scared of his injury history, though?
Look, man, I mean, yes, but look, Inter Miami has signed Fede, injury history, injured. Who else? Ian Frey has had 3 torn ACLs. He came back to have a great match last week. So look, yeah, that's okay. But at this point, look, you got to go game by game. And if you can get Varane,
kind of frozen there.
No, he was solid. He was solid.
Oh, that was me. That was frozen. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, if Varane puts you over, then I'm okay spending the money. It's all, again, going like to basketball. If it means you're going over the cap to add a player that's you're willing to do it. So in this case, I'm willing to do it. But I'm with you, Danny.
Chris?
I'm usually against giving a DP spot to a defender.
I have to tell you that I don't think it's a great idea to pay big money for a defender. I mean, we go back to, we're, Americans and we talk about football, right? But we talk about football as well. And would you pay big money to a defensive lineman or to a quarterback, right? Well, would you pay big money to a middle linebacker or a running back or a receiver, right? I mean, and again, I'm sort of trying to use different parallels of sports, but the same thing goes with basketball, right? You want to sign the more athletic guard over the big man. I mean, there's not many big men that you get that you think, okay, we got to pay big money for him. When it comes to football, I think that paying big money for a defender, especially one with the history of injuries that Varane has, I don't think it's a great idea.
I don't know, man. But he's going to be playing in the MLS. It's a much, I guess, less dynamic league or less, level league to where he's probably not going to be getting injured playing against these guys. So again, I'm not trying to say
everybody's getting injured though.
I mean, I don't want him to get Sergio Ramos money. That 12 million is ridiculous.
Well,
that's about 4 or 5 million. Okay.
Yeah, but on the Discord, that's where the conversation started, the whole Sergio Ramos thing. And I said
that's ridiculous.
Sergio Ramos is, and I've said it on here a million times, Sergio Ramos is my favorite soccer player of all time. Him and Pibe are my top 2 all time. And I would not give Sergio Ramos a DP contract. I wouldn't, even though he's my favorite player, and I would love to see him rocking the Inter Miami badge. I would not give him a DP spot. I think it's a waste.
I just think it's outlandish to give, and Mr. Krabs is making the observation for those of you on video on YouTube. Danny has 3 perfectly messy drinks right behind him.
Oh,
which, by the way,
the 4th one. What's the 4th one?
Oh, that you got duped. You got.
I got Debo'd, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna buy the drinks on the way home. I totally forgot. That's very irresponsible of me. Irresponsible of me.
Well, just
I'll
real
make sure
quick,
to
just
have
a quick plug for tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna give a little taste test so we could
yes,
say how they are. So tomorrow we're gonna do that on the show.
So again, just getting back to what I was saying, I don't think that we should be paying big money for a defender. I don't. Give me a Cam. Give me a striker, right? Or give me I mean, not a winger because I don't want Robbie Taylor to go, but give me a striker, right? That can compete with Campana for that second spot because obviously at this point, nobody else is going to be able to compete with him. So, give me the money up front, not in the back. No way.
Well,
I mean, if we can get guys like Freire to come in on the cheap and guys like Aviles at this point, sort of cheaply, give me those guys. Don't give me somebody that's cheap and that might get injured, just like Freire on the cheap.
Yeah, but you're talking about Varane. He's 31 years old versus Sergio Ramos, who's 38 years old. And if you're talking about only giving him $4 or $5 million, and that's what's going to make him a DP, I know that you're talking that he's had a lot of injuries, but that also means that he hasn't played. He doesn't have a lot of miles on his legs, like a Sergio Ramos, like some of the other defenders that have been rumored to be coming here. So if you're going to get this, remember, this guy has a World Cup. This guy has 4 Champions League trophies, 4 Intercontinentales. This guy's a world-class defender, and you're not going to be willing to put $4 million. He's only 31 years old. He can play another 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Once Pepe left Real Madrid, he was the starter next to Sergio Ramos in all important games. That's why Nacho never played. That's why I never understood was look, Nacho is a good player, and I think he would ball out here in the MLS. But it was Varane, it was Pepe, it was Sergio Ramos. Like all these players were playing ahead of him. I'm blanking right now on Rudiger. You got so many people that are playing against the Nacho. I don't know why everybody's so obsessed with getting Nacho. Varane, on the other hand, has the big game experience. He has consistently. Look at any of the finals. It wasn't Nacho starting. It was Varane. It was Sergio Ramos. It was Pep. It was these guys. Rudiger. So I never got it. Now I will tell you, as far as money goes, I don't really care if they are giving Ramos or Varane 10 mil, 4 mil, 5 mil. My thing is the DP spot. In this league, you're only paying big money to 3 players. So I don't care how much they give them. That doesn't really concern me. It's not the 12 million or the 4 or 5 million. It's the spot that, to me, I don't want to use that spot up on a center back.
Well, that's the problem about the MLS, right? I mean, you're so limited. Now, I want to mention something in comparing Ramos to Varane. When you have a name that is literally a verb, you've been Sergio Ramos in terms of like on defense, destroyed, right? You can't compete against a guy that has a verb as a name. When you play soccer and you say somebody has been Sergio Ramos, I mean, literally, like, how better can you get of a player than that?
Well, I never heard of that.
I mean, I hadn't either. But Varane definitely isn't considered one of the greats of all time. Sergio Ramos technically is of the century, right? You talk about the best center backs of this century, Sergio Ramos gets brought up. Varane doesn't. So I get the name carries a lot of load also. So, look, but I just wanted to have that quick conversation. And as far as Varane coming, I think that he would be a great addition. I hope it's not for a DP spot, but when you really think about it, if we don't, and maybe I'm going to contradict myself now. If we don't use it on a center back, what else on this current roster would you use it on?
Striker.
We're set at striker with Luis Suarez. We're set at right wing with Messi. We think we're pretty set in the midfield with Redondo, Gomez, Busquets. I think our midfield is deep. I don't think that they're gonna be looking for DP, maybe, but then you're set basically at left back, right back with Weigand, and maybe even Ian Frey. You're set. I think center back might be the only place that you have available to use a DP spot right now. Am I wrong?
But are we really set at right back?
No, I mean,
are we really set? I mean, I don't know how long he's signed for, but I don't know if we're like set there, right? I mean, we're set with Jordi Alba, and then I don't know what's the deal with when he ever leaves us, if Negri's going to stick around, right? Because if not, then we got Noah Allen waiting in the helm.
I'm pretty sure that there are no DP contracts in the MLS for any right backs in the league. I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure nobody.
I don't think so. I'm not saying that would be the move. What I mentioned immediately when you were talking about this, the striker. That's exactly what I said, the striker. Look, Campana is holding the second spot down by default. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I right or am I wrong? Because nobody else
you're going to
is
spend
taking
a
it from
DP
him.
on a. Yeah, but you're going to spend the DP spot on a backup striker. That just sounds kind of weird.
No, it does sound kind of weird. But like, how long is Luis Suarez going to be with this team?
Yeah, but then you use it next year. Then you use it in January. You don't use it right now.
So then just hold on. So then just hold it. Why are you going to fill it now? I mean, so what? So we fill it now with Varane. I mean, Varane is going to get what? He'll get. How many years would you assume that he'd get?
He'll get 18 months. He'll get this half year and maybe next or maybe 2 years. I mean, he is pretty young. He's 31. So maybe he will get a long contract. I don't know. With his injury history, I would assume that they wouldn't give him too long.
I mean, and look at this. Look at this. Mr. Krause is saying we got my man crush, Ian Frey. Ian Frey is coming out the box hot and heavy.
All right. Well, talking about Varane and his injury history.
Wait, hold on. Solana, where would you place the DP? Because we didn't get to Solana. Where would you put that? Where do you think there would be a fill, I guess, if it's not center back? Or if it is, if center back is the only option.
Or winger. Center back or winger. I mean, I think with what we currently have, I know you're a Robert Taylor fan. Huge stand, but dude, I think if there's a level of improvement where Inter Miami can have, it's going to be there at left wing. And that might be the spot where they spend it in. You might see Di Maria get the DP spot. You don't know, but also, Chris, you also have to plan ahead too, because you're thinking about, okay, you buy down Campana today or in a couple weeks, you bring a third DP. There's already talks about roster rules changing for next year, and I know the fourth DP was said no, but again, I don't see how this league doesn't go in that direction, or at least expand the roster to be able to add players like that. So that's where I'm saying, like, that's why I'm okay giving it to Varane, because I think there's going to be something else opening up in the future. So
I was talking to Cali from the Battered Marlins, and he used to do a bunch of podcasts, but he's in the process of moving. But we were having a talk about these roster rules, and he brought up an interesting point. He thinks, because I thought that they would jump on adding a fourth DP or changing the rules big time this season that we're currently on, and they didn't. And now they're saying that the rules for next season is just going to be the whole 3 DPs and 3 U22 players without any restrictions. You can just have those 6 players.
That's awful.
And we were talking about it, and he brought up an interesting point. He says that he kind of thinks that they are using this current season or this current time with Messi as almost like a case study,
like a prototype.
Like they want to see how much growth there really is with Messi. Like, does this really help the league overall, or is it just wherever Messi goes, there's a lot of fans attending, and then everything just goes away once he's gone? Like I think that he might have a point. I think they might be scared of doing these changes, because if they do these changes, the teams with money, NYCFC, Miami, LA, they're gonna take advantage of it. But the teams that didn't see a lot of growth aren't gonna take advantage of it, and it's gonna ruin the competitive balance, which is what the MLS really is dying for. And I know that I know Solana hates that. Solana loves the haves and have-nots. He's like, you know what? You don't got money, too fucking bad. That's just your cross to bear. And I know that's how Solana thinks.
Don't be an owner. Don't be an owner. Right. You don't got money. Don't be an owner. Done.
That's fine. 100%. I get it. But
if nobody's gonna go to the game, nobody's gonna go to a game every Salt Lake. Like, I mean, you could be an owner of a team, you have money, but like if nobody's going to your games,
you have to grossly overpay
players. No, but you have to
grossly overpay.
But not really. If you put together a good academy and you can show players, right? Show young players that there is a way or a funnel where you can funnel players into your academy and get them in Europe and get them paid. Trust me, you're going to get players going there. That's what Inter Miami is doing, guys. That's why they're signing these U22s. Diego Gomez is going to go get 15, 16 million in a couple weeks, hopefully. And that's going to bring more guys from South America to come because they're seeing that Diego Gomez just got 15 million. Dude, Redondo's going to sell for 10 to 12 million if he continues to go on this path, maybe even more. That's what this league needs to do. That's what teams need to sell. Freedom to dream, baby. Freedom to dream.
So then what you're basic go ahead, Danny.
No, go.
So what you're basically saying is like Philadelphia, just a little bit more on steroids, essentially.
Hell yeah.
Like the Philadelphia Union, where they have their farm system and they bring everybody from the underground of the underground, and then eventually at some point sell them off internationally.
Now, yes. The one thing, remember when we had Ty on, and he mentioned that Kevin can't play because he's 14 and the laws in the United States, laws don't allow him to play after a certain time. Dude, that's ridiculous. Get rid of that shit. That cannot happen.
But that's literally a labor law. You can't allow 14-year-olds.
But this is sports, Chris. This is sports. If the guy's 14 years old and he's a baller, dude, I want him to play.
All right, but there's a process of changing those child labor laws. There's a process.
Hold on.
I don't think that they saw this 14-year-old coming when he was 10. Like it just happened.
Listen, there's a reason why kids in Publix wear dark blue badges on their names. Because those kids only work. Yes. So when I used to work for Publix, if you see a kid with a dark blue name badge, that means he is underage and can only work like 5 minutes a week, or technically like 25 hours.
I'm gonna give him tips, bro. I like those kids. Then I'm gonna give.
Tips. Those kids with the blue badges, the blue, dark blue. That means that they're like 14, 15, and literally like AZ Rebellion is saying. Child labor laws. We can't just change it for a soccer player.
Solana's like,
wait, abandon all laws in the United States federal government.
If this 14-year-old is a baller, you let him ball.
Hell yeah. But you're not allowing him. You're not allowing him to show his talent to the rest of the world. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember how we got onto this conversation. What topic were we talking about?
Dude,
we were talking about Solana was talking about how some of the teams, if you don't have the money,
that's right.
Find other ways to be able to facilitate.
As much as people criticize the MLS for doing that, which I do think that they're way too restricted. I do think they need to loosen up a lot. But to that point, haven't you heard that the EPL is starting to figure out, like, okay, maybe we do need to put some restrictions on this shit because it's getting out of hand. Like Luton Town, how happy was everybody? Luton Town made the league. Oh yeah, they're playing like in a backyard, but let's all celebrate. Thank you for being with us for 1 year. Back you go. Like that's how it is consistently in the EPL and these other leagues. Like yes, the haves and the have-nots, but man, there's like such a huge difference. My understanding is that Man City in EPL, I think their salary is like you can combine the bottom 10 teams and it still won't match up. Like it's ridiculous. And again, I root for Inter Miami. I know that I will probably benefit from this if it were to happen. So, like, to me, it doesn't really matter, I guess, but technically. But like, I hate the way those leagues are because it's so top heavy. That's why I enjoy watching Champions League more than domestic leagues over there. Because at least with Champions League, I feel like it's more balanced. When it's domestic leagues, it's like, you root because your team shouldn't be losing to these teams, and every once in a while they will. And everybody's like, oh, but you see, they lost to them. It's like, oh, yeah, that's one of the 2 losses all season. Like, I don't know. I'm just not I don't like it. I like there to be a little bit of competitive balance.
Yeah, a little bit of parity.
Yeah. Now, Solana just wants just to dick kick everybody.
Everybody. That's right. Let me know, Don Garber. When you're ready to step down, Solana's ready to step in.
Yeah, but then all of a sudden we're going to have 4.
You would destroy this league.
I guarantee you, the first thing I would do is bring Florentino Perez, the greatest businessman in the history of soccer. First thing I would do.
How are you going to bring him?
Could be my consultant, baby. What do you think?
He doesn't need any more money.
He's going to hire 14-year-olds to rummage the office. Dude, get my coffee, little kid.
He is so like overloaded with money that even though that the Club World Cup next year is probably going to bring a ton of money to those clubs that participate, he already said he doesn't want to be part of it next year. Like he's not coming to the United States.
He doesn't. He wants to create the Superliga. So
I wish he would. I wish he would. And people hate me when I say it. I wish he would.
I agree with you. It would be more entertaining than what we currently get.
Of course.
This is a good comment by Mark Sagage. I hope I said it right. It's the first time I've seen this commenter. So what's up, Mark? I like that little image. That's really cool. It looks like a Hey Arthur sort of deal here. He says big cities can't help it. Smaller cities don't have the same market, which is true. Like I mentioned, if you have teams like Real Salt Lake and like, I don't know, Sporting KC. I mean, I'm just thinking of those like little small towns. I don't think that they're raking in money.
No,
whether
teams
you're
like that, we're gonna suffer. They're never gonna get any foreign players.
And
Dude,
I don't think
hold on. Sporting KC got Alan Pulido a few years ago, and he was a really big rumored signing. And I think they gave him 10 mil or something like that. So again, he came in as this big Mexican, huge, great player, and he's just shat the bed. So I mean, they tried, they struck out.
Yes, I did.
Mexicans as foreigners. All right. Well, to that point, now that we're talking about the league and the way the league works, another large talking point over the last couple days has been Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie is rumored to come to Cincinnati. Now, one, that would be a big signing for Cincinnati. Weston McKennie playing for Juve for the last year, been playing for Leeds. On loan, he was on Leeds. Like, he's played very well in that team for quite a while now. One of the best players on the U.S. men's national team. But they're talking about bringing him over. He's still technically in his prime. A lot of people are saying that would be absolutely horrible for him and the U.S. men's national team. They're saying that there's absolutely no way that they should do that and that his career would be over. Now, I have a feeling I know where Solana is going to go with this, so I'm going to go to you first, Chris. Chris, what do you think about U.S. men's national team players coming to play for the MLS? And do you really think that would mean that these players' careers are over?
I think at this point, I think that there's going to be a lot more traction in the MLS in the next coming years. So I don't think that within the next 2 years that the whole image of these players' careers are over is going to be something that's like dominant in the opinions of the people watching. I feel like after Messi leaves, then it might go back to that. But it's funny. I was talking to my son about it a couple days ago, how he was wondering why Pulisic doesn't play for the MLS. I'm like, well, he's really good, right? I mean,
that's basically what it means. That's what it is.
Yeah. But at this point, right, we're starting to hear and see players that are bigger names want to come or are coming. So I think that at this point, I think it wouldn't hurt. I think it would actually help the United States, especially in its sort of development for love of the game of football. So I think it definitely would help for him to come. And I don't think that it's going to be necessarily showing as if he's washed.
If he plays washed, maybe.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's washed. I think he's had some a really bad luck or bad luck in terms of where he's been playing at, what the teams he's been at, the coaches that he's gotten. Sometimes it just doesn't work out for some players. Now, I agree with with what Mitch said. I agree that having him playing, whether it be in the MLS or in Europe at this point, is just important, because if he's not playing, then that just means that he's just not getting reps, and then that just means
Mitch. Good point.
It's not good. Now, the other thing that kind of factors into this is he's 25 years old or 26 years old, man.
Still got a lot of time.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you are already coming back from Europe and you're 25, 26, like, what does that say about your game? Now, does he still have an option? Does he have the opportunity to come back to Cincinnati, play here 1 or 2 years, and go back out for a final contract? Absolutely. Can he do that? Should he do that? Maybe that's what he's thinking. Maybe he misses home. It could happen. You never know, man. You never know what goes on in these players' minds, especially when they go out there and they're young and they're all alone. Sometimes they're 18, 19, 20 years old. You're by yourself in Italy, in Juventus. You just got millions of dollars. You don't know what's going on, man. So, look, I don't think it'll – and I'm sure you're surprised with what I'm saying. I don't think it would be bad if he came back. I think it would be fantastic for the league. I don't think it would be terrible for his career, but if he comes back and just never goes back out, then I don't think he'll have a shot at the national team again.
Well, I like what Mitch said. because that's where I was going to go with it. Because Gio Reyna, I mean, I think he's better off in the MLS than not playing. I'm blanking on our goalie's name, Matt Turner. I think he's better off playing in the MLS than riding the pine. And how many teams has he been on now? 2-3 teams since he went over to the EPL. Like, I don't see the benefit if you're not playing consistently. And I also don't think that coming here, unless you're playing poorly, is that big a deal. Like, if Weston McKennie, if you found out that Saudi came after him and they gave him a ridiculous amount of money to go play over there, don't tell me that the Saudi league is better than the MLS league. But nobody would bat an eye. People would be like, but he still deserves to be on the U.S. national team. He just went to get the bag. Kevin De Bruyne might be going to the Saudi league to get the money. Nobody's going to question him playing for Belgium. Like, I don't think that. Now, if they all come here, maybe that's a problem. But one or two, really I don't think so.
I have a question. Soccer Daddy is here throwing some shade. He should not come to Burger League, right? I mean, we got to come up with a better appropriate name, Soccer Daddy. But I have a question for you guys, and I don't know if you guys know off the top of your head. Has there been any example of a player that leaves international leagues or whatever, right? Comes to the MLS, plays, and then gets a bag or a semi-bag leaving? Like, I was thinking,
but
Gareth Bale. Well, I mean, Zlatan Ibrahimovic did that. No?
Okay, you're talking about to come to the MLS and then go back to play in a big team over there?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
Gareth
Ibrahimovic. Yeah, Gareth Bale retired, but like Ibrahimovic left and went to, what was it, AC Milan? I mean, I don't know how much money he got there, but I imagine that he got a pretty decent payday out there. Look, I mean, Vic is mentioning the same name.
But this is the thing. Up until 4 or 5 years ago.
Beckham?
Oh, Beckham did leave. That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
Up until 4 or 5 years ago, though, this literally was a retirement league. Like, if you came over here, it's because this was your last stop. David Villa, Pirlo, Lampard, off the top of my head. You got Schweinsteiger. Like, a bunch of guys would come here because this is the last stop. If you come here and you're a lot younger and you perform well, that doesn't mean that's the end of your career. This is just a pit stop. Like, I think that the league itself is changing. And I think Messi's helping that a lot also. Because I'm sorry, if Messi says that he wants to go back to Europe, I promise you, Man City to Barcelona to everybody is trying to get Messi. I think Messi is going to change the way that this league is looked at. Not completely. It's not considered one of the best in the world, but it's not looked at as a laughingstock anymore, at least in my opinion.
But this is a good point. Vic is saying, but the dude is a legend of the game, which I imagine he's talking about Ibrahimovic. No matter where he goes, stuff like this doesn't apply on legends of the game, which is true. Mm-hmm. But again, one of the things that we all have to take advantage of is, especially these players, is the fact that Messi's here. And if you're coming here to play, you're not coming here to retire. Like, you're coming here to compete as well, because these teams are essentially growing better. Now, where it's going to be after Messi leaves, that's the scary part, Solana. I mean, I don't know if you have any other opinions on this, but that's, to me, that's the one thing that I see. Messi's here. It's competitive. It's getting better. We're getting better players. The quality is rising.
Well, I think you nailed it on the head. And in terms of my opinion, I think I kind of expressed that a little bit earlier when we talked, when you mentioned, hey, who's going to go to Real Salt Lake? And I think, again, that's where the league needs to go, especially if you're smaller market teams. Obviously, the bigger market teams are going to be able to get some names. They are. It's just how it is, especially Miami, LA, and New York, because of the size of the city, how popular those cities are. And the players have, it's just a popularity thing. They want to live in those cities. Now, if they develop really, really good pipelines, players will come. They will come. Why? Quality of life is a lot better in the United States than it is in South America. They're going to come. They're going to get paid a lot more here. Or maybe they won't, but the life is going to be better. I'm just saying the players will come. You just need to show them the way. And up to now, they haven't.
And just real quick, when I said Messi going back, it was a hypothetical. I know he already said that he's going to come and retire as a Heron.
This is big. Vic saying it's actually scary because the MLS set the bar so high. Someone got to be the next superstar in there. There's no way to top Messi. Like, no. This is the peak, guys. Like, this is going to be the peak MLS, I believe. Like, unless you get a plethora of monsters to like reach to the Messi level, then maybe. But
Like,
right now we're peaking.
This is something that I truly believe, and maybe it's my American bias. But if this league continues to grow within the next 5 to 10 years, you can't tell me that outside of the 5 leagues, this will be the most attractive league. Like, nobody wants to go and play in the Netherlands and be cold as shit when they can come and live in Miami or San Diego or LA. Like, I'm sorry, like your lifestyle also matters. So yes, if you're gonna end up in the English Premier League, if you're gonna end up in La Liga, even Bundesliga, or the top 4 or 5, I still think the France league sucks, but whatever. But if 4 or 5 leagues, after that, I'm sorry, people are gonna be like, F it, I'll go make money and go live in the United States until I can make it into one of those leagues. I think that this league is gonna be one of the top leagues in the next 10 years, based off of that.
So I mean, I completely agree. Look at some of the top players. Even in the Copa America, some of the names like John Duran, he came out of the MLS. I mean, you're starting to see some more guys. And I had a list and I just lost it, but you're starting to see more young guys like that come play 1 or 2 years, play fantastic, then get transferred to Europe to one of these smaller, whether it be La Liga teams or Premier League teams, and they start playing well over there. So you're seeing that again, Danny. I mean, what you're saying is nailing it on the head. Why would you want to go to the Netherlands and freeze your ass off when you can come and live in the United States, one of the greater, best countries to live in terms of, again, quality of life, education for your children. That's why these guys came here. That's why Messi came. That's why Suarez came. That's why Jordi Alba. That's why they're all coming. It's more for your family. It's a much more calm lifestyle here in the United States than they're living over there with, everybody in your face. They can't even go to the grocery store over there. They can't do those things. Here, they do it, they live their regular life. So again, I think you nail it on the head. And if the league continues to go in the way that they go, they need to make some changes in terms, like they said, in terms of transfer rules and the rosters and the salary caps. But if they make the right changes, I have no doubt that this could be one of the top leagues. No doubt.
No, and then here it's Marco said Herd Almada's leaving. This is another thing. This is another thing that I was going to bring up right now. Atlanta's getting paid $20 million for Almada right now. I said in the next 10 years, 2034, I think the MLS could be the 5th or 6th best league in the world. I truly believe that in the next 10 years. And if you think I'm crazy, think back to 2014. I promise you would have never thought that the league would be the way it is right now 10 years ago. Like, would you have imagined somebody like Messi here? And there's more than just Messi. Diego Almada getting sold for 20 mil. Diego Gomez possibly getting sold for 20 mil. The quality and the players that are here. People are talking about the MLS on a regular basis. This league is growing. In the last 10 years, it's grown exponentially. And in the next 10, if it continues at this trajectory, I think it can continue to grow. And like I said, it'd be 5th or 6th in the world because of the lifestyle for these players. Now, they do need to fix some of this salary cap crap. But I do think.
The biggest thing for me was bringing the fans back. And I think they're starting to do that little by little as you see the stadiums get more full week after week. And I think that's the biggest key, was grabbing folks' attention. Now that they've done that, it's can they keep it?
I see Mr. Krabs is commenting here. I looked it up. MLS is ranked 16th. I want to see that list, Mr. Krabs.
But
I don't even believe that they're ranked.
But how is it?
They're higher than that. They have to be.
How is that determined? I look at it.
Joe Schmo in his basement in his underwears.
I'm looking at
like
it
Poland or something.
I'm looking at it strictly based off of popularity and attendance. That's how I'm viewing it. So
this guy's putting like the Cuba League in front of the MLS. Like, what are you doing?
Do you guys have a league?
No, there's no league that I know of in Cuba, and
there is a league, man.
There is a Cuba League.
Yeah, bro. It's not very well known, but there is a league. The players have to play somewhere, dude. It's not like these guys are working and all of a sudden, hey, we got a qualifier in Guatemala.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys. They got to play somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys that play for the Cuban national team, like that play in other teams throughout the world, right? I mean, there's There's two guys that play for the MLS,
but they're not part of the
guy in the Premier League.
There was a guy in the Premier League. Yep.
He can't play on the national team.
Yes.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, he does play. His last name is Hernandez.
That's why there's
down.
Hawkeyes on all the Cuban players whenever they leave for the Olympics or anything, because they're all trying. Like, you let me out the country for a couple minutes, I'm out. Like,
oh no, forget it. Anywhere in Florida, they had a game in Tampa, and like 6 guys jumped out the car and just ran for it into somebody's Honda Civic.
There was like videos of it when it happened. Like,
yeah,
it's a real thing. For those of you that aren't aware, like Cuba, the dictatorship is real, and they don't let anybody out. And when they do let some of these athletes out for competitions, a lot of them take the chance to just run.
These baseball guys too, forget it. And they're actually good at baseball.
So that's why I'm saying it doesn't make sense that somebody that's on the Premier League living in England would come back and play for the national team. I don't think.
He has. He's actually like one of their better players.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple things that I wanted to touch on real quick. Today,
I got that photo, by the way, just in case.
Yeah, no, I just saw it. I'm gonna bring it up here. This is gonna be a quick tidbit. Today marks the 3-year anniversary of the first time that Orlando played against Inter Miami in Miami when the crowds were allowed to attend. We lost that game 2-1. We scored first, and that goal where we scored, I forgot who it was that scored, was the most fun. Well, no, second, because the Messi goal against Cruz Azul took over. But that was the second most fun I've had at a game ever. And I'm going to show you why. I used to sit in section 123. And section 122 used to be where all the visitors used to sit. Okay? And for this game, Orlando came out and they showed out. This is what it looked like. That right there was all purple. And I will tell you, I had one hell of a time when we scored that first goal. When we took that lead, it was absolutely awesome. And I really hate that they went and they moved the supporters all the way to the other side of that stand. And I hate when they don't show up. It's a lot more fun when you have a big group of supporters and you kind of get to go back and forth with them. Now, one of the reasons I brought this up was to show you guys how it used to look. And the other reason I bring this up is because Solana brought up a very interesting conversation on Twitter about Copa America and how they should do things. So Solana, I'll let you take over with your suggestion as to how they should fill in the stadium, and I will tell you why I think it's a horrible idea.
That's absolutely great. Well, my personal opinion in terms of, first, I want to get into stadium size. I think CONMEBOL and CONCACAF completely missed out on here. You can't be hosting these games in 65, 70,000 seat stadiums and charging the prices that you're charging and expect the people from South America, who all need visas, by the way, unless you're from Chile. Unless you're from Chile, you need a visa to get into the U.S., which is very tough to get. It's like some of them have to be on a wait list for over a year or two to get a visa.
I have family in Colombia
things, waiting. That's what I'm saying. All those things go up. Now, getting into the real thing about sitting in the stadium. Now, I was at the Uruguay game with Panama on Sunday with my family. I took my kid, my 3-year-old kid, first time he ever went to a game. Honestly, it was amazing to take my son to a Uruguay game. But it was 3-0. The game was over basically, and Panama scores a goal, and some dummy 5 rows back starts throwing his beer, going crazy. Panama! It's like, bro, are you fucking kidding me, dude? It's 3-1. We're in the 94th minute. You just wet 3/4 of my goddamn section, and you wet my kid and other kids in this section. Like, really, bro? Really? That's why I don't want to sit next to you people, man. I don't want to sit next to you. So I say you divide the stadium in half. You let half of it. That's how they're doing it in Europe, at least. At least that's what I see. Behind the goals, it's all the fans. All the fans. Not like mixed. And I think it should be for basketball, for football, for everything. There would be no fights or less fights. Dude, honestly, I can't tell you how many times I go to a Heat game and I want to knock out some opposing fan who's sitting in front of me and just talking unnecessary shit.
You see Chris' stupid smile? Chris's stupid smile is because he's that fan that you want to knock out.
I know. It's annoying. And honestly, it's the worst thing. Because then it's just, I don't want to get into it too much, but dude, it just got me really heated, especially at the game when it's like, dude, why are you throwing beer? It's like, dude, we scored three goals. We look back at the guy. We're like, we scored 3 goals and we never threw beer. What? Like, why? Is it like, I don't get it. So, dude, it's just annoying, man. I want to sit like with my fans. And not only that, You sit with your fans so you guys can scream and you guys can chant things. If you spread out the 20,000 fans that go see their team, you're not going to hear anything. So, dude,
Well,
I mean,
I think that's
absolutely.
weird coming from you though, because you liked all the whole like throwing the beer in the supporter section and all that. You like that stuff.
Yeah, but with my fans, I don't want like, for example, like I don't want, if you go watch Colombia, Mexico scores a goal. You want the Mexican fans throwing beer on you? No, but if Colombia scores a goal and it's with your people and you guys are going nuts, it's a little bit different.
I can understand what Solana's saying. Like, if Mexico throws a beer on me, I might turn around and just deck them right in the face, like just because, like,
well,
hey,
he almost did. He almost got decked by like 3 guys. We had to pull some of our guys back because, dude, like. Plus,
well,
I get it. The 20th minute, you're excited. It's a 3-1 game, but dude,
it's competitive.
Minute, you're throwing beer. Get out of here, guy. Get out of here.
Now, and Francisco Garcia is saying, "Los borrachos de tablón sitting behind Solana."
Nah, they would have been my friends. They would have been my friends. I'm cool with those guys.
I've seen like in games internationally where they put like barriers in the middle of fan bases. I think that's really interesting, to be honest. I get the whole idea because you want to avoid the conflict and the fighting, but it seems like animals in cages kind of stuff. Like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like, what if you're winning and your fan base is like literally pounding on the glass, like, we're destroying you, and then all of a sudden, like, you just throw the glass on them, and then it's all chaos. It's war. I mean, that could potentially happen.
I don't think,
or whatever that
if
barrier
anything, it's
is.
a fence, or they put like a barrier of police and stuff. And I'm okay with that. I think that's great. I think it's great. If you haven't been to a game like like a game in South America, Chris, let's go, bro. I'll take you to one. I have no problem. It's just a different atmosphere, man.
I was gonna go to a game in Colombia, but I ended up,
man.
Yeah, I ended up bailing out on those plans, but I was planning on going to a game in Colombia, in Barranquilla.
It would be a blast.
I'm going to tell you why I don't think they could do that for Copa America.
All right.
If they put that game of Uruguay versus Panama and they split the fan bases, that Panama section is going to look completely empty.
That's not my problem.
But it is the person that's selling the product's problem. They want it to look good on TV. I know it's not your problem. Dude, they don't care about your problem. They want it to look good on TV. And it already looks empty.
Well, I'm going to tell you that the camera, where the camera side was, it looked like a wrestling show because there was nobody sitting on the side of the camera. There was nobody in the 300s on the camera side. Nobody.
They don't sell those tickets on purpose.
It's ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. But look, Argentina, they sold out 60,000. They sold out another 60-something or 70,000 today. Colombia showed out well. Obviously, it's a little bit tough for smaller countries like Uruguay and Panama to sell out. But maybe they should have had that game, God forbid for me saying, but at Dry Pit or at Chase Stadium, or even at Camping World, which is 50,000, a little bit less. And it would have looked a little bit better. So maybe the MLS schedulers. Now I loved it because it was in Miami. I didn't have to drive. Now I have to go on Thursday to New York to watch Uruguay. But again,
what I'm saying is,
they
if you
need to
split
look
it half and half that stadium is going to be empty. Like Colombia, I know it's not your problem again, but it is. You have to think about their problems. Their problems are financial and the way things look.
That is perfect. The Solana's world.
Right,
we're just non-playable characters.
You got it, bro. You got it.
Not my problem.
We're just
do it anyway.
Simland.
All right, so we're hitting the end here. So I guess we'll touch on Copa America real quick since we already kind of segued in, and then we're gonna end it with your picture, Chris. Okay. All right, so real quick, we had right here. This is the way that I know. This is the way that Group A ended. Now I know that Canada played. I'm here. I went Spanish already. Canada played just now. They beat Peru 1-0, so they are technically now tied with Argentina for top of the table, but on top of the group. But Argentina plays against Chile in like 8 minutes. So we got that group. We had Group B, which was there it is. Venezuela, Mexico, Ecuador, and Jamaica. Jamaica not looking so hot, Chris. I don't know if they're gonna make the final like you predicted, but Venezuela and Mexico are top of that group. Then we have Uruguay, United States, Panama, Bolivia, Uruguay, and United States took care of business like we figured they would. Panama and Bolivia, not that great of teams. And then finally, Colombia, Brazil, Costa Rica, and Paraguay. Colombia and Brazil. Colombia at the top of that group, then Brazil. Any surprises from that any of you guys thought, anything that was surprising to you at all?
I'm sure a lot of people are going to say Brazil, but I wasn't surprised. What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brazil as well. But again, but that's just, I guess, from expectations of so many years of how they played. I mean, I expected Costa Rica to overpass them anyway. So,
yeah, you predicted a Jamaica-Costa Rica final. So
yes, I did.
So we'll see how that turns
Damian
out.
Lowe versus Ariel Lassiter.
The United States. A lot of people. I was pleasantly surprised at how well Christian Pulisic played, but I thought the United States played underwhelming. I thought they could have played a lot better. There was like a scrimmage game. I felt like they felt that way and they didn't take it that seriously. But they won their game. Uruguay, I thought, also played down to their competition for a lot of that game. And Darwin Nunez, I was worried that he wasn't going to get onto the back a goal because I thought that he was missing some good opportunities. Chris?
Let's talk about how James is looking like a god right now.
But he always does that.
Let's talk about James looking like a god with Colombia. Like, he always does this. Like, now I know why he lives forever in this sport. Because he lives.
That's why I tweeted out, like, let's sign him on Inter Miami, but with the caveat that he has to wear the Colombia jersey under, because it's like Popeye with his spinach. Like, he puts on that yellow jersey, and it's a different beast. And it's wild the way he plays.
It's the truth.
If he was, you were saying, Solana, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say it's the truth, man. He fooled the entire European world and Real Madrid to give him a bazillion-dollar contract after that Uruguay game in 2014, and then the only time he ever showed up again was when he wore the yellow, red, and blue. So it's crazy, dude. I'd even be okay with him wearing the Colombia jersey on the field at Chase Stadium. No, don't even put the Inter Miami jersey on, bro. Just let him go. Bro.
Well, I will look. Let me defend him 1 second. He played decent his first year with Real Madrid with Ancelotti under the helm. Then Zidane came and he hated James. James never saw the field again. And then he left to Bayern with Ancelotti again, played well that first season with Bayern, and then Ancelotti left, and James is nowhere to be found again. So Ancelotti is the only one that's been able to get anything out of him after he left Monaco.
I just want to say that because you were hating on him coming to Inter Miami, Danny. But if he plays... You were like, oh, man, what if we sign him for like a DP deal? Oh, he might be too expensive. Oh,
I don't think that was me.
Yes, that was.
Absolutely not. Now, I think that he might party a little too much.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
But I wanted him on here.
I think he would be, if he plays a fraction of the way that he's been playing with Colombia, bring him to Inter Miami. Bring him to Inter Miami. Absolutely.
All right. So I guess we'll talk real quick. Coming up, we got Argentina and Chile. Chile eliminated Argentina last time Copa America was here in the United States, I believe. So any predictions for tonight?
I mean, Argentina is going to destroy them. And Angel Lestat, I was absolutely nervous when he received an injury.
Well, I will tell you that I think that Paraguay, Uruguay, and Chile are the dirtiest teams in the world. So I would be worried tonight.
Oh my gosh!
Especially since everybody's criticizing the turf on the field or the grass or whatever they want to call it, because so I would be very concerned about Messi I know that he doesn't sub off, so I mean I guess it's pointless to say take him out, but I would love if they took him out.
Honestly, I am very concerned, Mitch. Very, very concerned with that. We've seen it's been problems with football players.
For those of you on audio, you're talking about Neymar.
In the past. Yeah, I'm talking about Neymar. Just for those of you on audio, let me just read the comment because you need to understand why I'm saying it. But Mitch basically says anyone else concerned with Neymar coming here and the amount of cocaine and strippers he might consume. And like I said, I 100% agree with you. And again, it's been shown in the past, in history, that basketball, football, players like to come down here and party. Look at the Boston Celtics. They win the NBA championship. I'm sorry, Heat fans. And they came down to Miami to party. So, yeah, hell yeah, I'm worried.
Well, look,
I'm more worried about the other things he might be doing. That's like the easy stuff.
let's hope that Jimmy Butler stays in Miami. They're very good friends, and maybe you can get some of that heat culture and discipline in Neymar before he goes and does anything crazy. All right, so game's about.
I mean,
to start, so go ahead.
Should we get to this picture or should we save it?
No, get to it. Everybody's seen it already. Go for it.
So, I mean, for those of you that are following the Inter Miami interwebs, right, on Twitter sphere and all this other stuff, here's a photo that Robbie Robinson put up on his, I believe it's his Instagram, with him sitting on a hospital bed saying, "Successful procedure, gonna be back stronger than ever. Wait on it." Now, looking at this picture, the first thing that I thought was, where the hell has this guy been this whole time that he's been injured? Why didn't he get this surgery way, way earlier? That's the first thing that I thought of. What was the first thing? What was the first thing that you thought of, Solana?
I saw somebody else tweet out the picture and ask, the Twitterverse. They asked, what does this make you feel? And I think I responded with, had no idea he was still on the team. Because I haven't heard about his name all year. Now, am I surprised? No, the guy's made of glass. I think he should have put no weight, WEIGHT on it, because he should never put any weight on it again. I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. But like, why even tweet? Why even put that picture out? Why even put that picture out?
That was a good one. Let me give him a round of applause for that right there. That was good,
Super slam. I get a round of applause,
Yeah. Well, look,
I can't remember the last time Robbie Robinson played. Go ahead, Danny.
I don't know what it was last year. No, did he ever play in the preseason? I think he might have played in the preseason.
He did play in the preseason. That's where he vomited.
Yeah. Yes.
Remember, he vomited on the field.
I don't want to talk bad about him. I feel bad for him. I feel everybody.
No, I'm not saying I'm not talking bad about him either, Danny. But like, he got injured very early in the season, right? Like, why did it take so long for him to get Is he waiting for medical coverage? Like, he's an athlete.
He was putting weight on it.
Is he waiting for? No, man. I mean,
oh man. Franco Panizo joined us last year. Right after it was official that we signed Messi, and I remember he told us that Robbie Robinson was getting traded. No, he was getting traded or sold to Charleston Battery. Was it Charleston Battery? I think it was Charleston Battery, and then things fell through. But he was on his way out, and things fell through. But he announced it on our show. I don't know why it fell through, but I'm assuming Robbie Robinson also doesn't want to be here anymore. Like, usually people want to be around Messi. He's probably like, dude, I just want to refresh somewhere else. And I don't blame him because things just haven't gone well.
I mean, the comments, I want to bring up comments, but I kind of don't. Like, I mean, I'm just wondering why it took so long for this to happen. Like, did he use up all his medical coverage before the surgery?
No, but if you used it up, you'd be good to go, because if you nowadays you fulfill your deductible, you don't got to pay anything, or you only pay 10%. It should have been cheaper. He should have had the surgery earlier in the year so that he could do more surgical procedures the rest of the year. I don't know, man. He screwed up. I'm curious. What hospital is that? Throw the picture back up for 1 second. What hospital is that? That's not Baptist, bro. Where is that?
I mean,
that's like in a weird hospital. Where is that?
This is like, you know what this is? This is like Carlos Abizu Hospital in Hialeah.
That's probably Mercy. That's Mercy Hospital.
Guess the hospital. That's a good game, chat.
No.
Guess the hospital.
We're not guessing the hospitals. Leave Robbie alone. He's gotten it bad enough. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we go watch this game?
Carlos Abizu Hospital, where they serve fresh croquetas and pastelitos.
I'm in. I want to be hospitalized there, but no, man. Let's go watch the game, and I'll see you guys in a couple hours. And
yes,
lo hacemos en español.
Yes, we'll be back at 11 o'clock after the Argentina game to talk Inter Miami again with us three and Xavi La Voz, and probably talk some Argentina and Copa America. So if you're listening on audio, thank you for listening all the way down. Please leave us 5-star comment, review, all that good stuff. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching all the way down. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends. And for those of you in the chat, as always, we appreciate you. And if you speak Spanish and you want to hang out with us, join us again at 11 o'clock, same channel, 11 o'clock after the game. So until the next one, have a good one.